So I got some news for you. You got a raise this year, you're still losing money.
What did you say?
Not losing it like you made a bad decision. Losing it just by existing. Just by going to work, coming home, filling up your tank, buying groceries.
Sounds tough.
Just by living the completely normal life that every generation before us was able to afford without thinking this hard about it.
Lord have mercy.
And the crazy part is, on paper, everything looks fine. The government says the economy is stable. The official numbers this week show jobs being added, unemployment sitting at 4.3%. They keep using words like resilient and steady. But you don't feel steady. You feel like the same paycheck buys less every single month. And you're not imagining that. Here's what's actually happening.
Break it down,
Wages went up this year, on average about 3.5%, which sounds okay, not amazing, but you take it. Except 2 years ago, wages were growing at 4%.
Wait a minute, wait.
So already we're moving backwards on that. And now inflation is running higher than 3.5%, partly because of oil prices spiking from the conflict with Iran, which disrupted shipping through the Strait of Hormuz and drove up the cost of basically everything that gets transported anywhere.
You will never get this, you will never get this, la 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 la.
Which is everything. Oil, fertilizer, aluminum, food, all of it moving through those shipping lanes. All of it now costing more to get anywhere. And those costs don't stay with the shipping companies, they come to you. At the pump, at the grocery store, on your heating bill. So your paycheck went up 3.5%, and the world around you got more expensive than that.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
That's not a raise, that's an optical illusion with direct deposit. It's like someone taking $20 out of your wallet and handing you back 10 and saying, "Good news, I'm giving you money." And somehow you're supposed to feel okay about that.
More money, more problems.
The Federal Reserve looked at all of this week and decided to leave interest rates exactly where they are, between 3.5% and 3.75%. Which sounds like a technical detail until you realize what it means. It means they're not cutting rates. Which means borrowing stays expensive, which means mortgages stay high, which means the house you've been trying to buy stays out of reach for another season.
Where are we gonna live?
And their reason for holding? Inflation concerns. The same inflation that's eating your raise. I think about this stuff a lot because there's something that bothers me beyond just the math. It's the gap between what the official numbers say and what you actually feel at the end of the month.
Shit.
Every report this week says things are fine, solid, resilient, and every guy I know is quietly stressed, not making it a whole thing, not complaining, just doing the math on a Sunday night and feeling like something doesn't add up no matter how careful he is. And it doesn't add up. That's the truth. It genuinely doesn't add up. And it's not because you're bad with money. It's because the math was changed on you while you were at work.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
There was a generation not too long ago where one income was enough. One job, one person working, and that was sufficient to own a home, support a family, have a car, take a vacation once a year. Nothing extravagant, just a normal life.
And now it's gone. Gone forever.
A life that felt like something you were actually building toward. And I'm not talking about ancient history here, I'm talking about your parents' generation, maybe even the early part of your own.
Remember what we had, Larry?
A time when the deal was simple and everyone understood it. You show up, you work hard, you get paid enough to live, not rich, not comfortable in some excessive way, just enough.
That is too much to ask, Meg.
Enough to have a house that's yours. Enough to feed your family without doing math at the checkout. Enough to feel like the effort you're putting in has a destination. That deal is gone, and nobody canceled it officially. There was no announcement, no policy change you could point to. It just quietly stopped being true somewhere along the way, and by the time most people noticed, it had already been gone for a while. Now the baseline is 2 incomes just to stay level. 2 people working full-time and still renting.
I'm tired, boss.
Still driving a car with payments, still looking at the housing market like it's a different country with a currency you don't have access to. And on top of that, a side hustle, because 2 incomes isn't always enough either. So now you need a third thing, a fourth thing, something on the weekends, something in the evenings after you've already worked all day.
No rest for the sick.
And the messaging around all of this is hustle culture, rise and grind, multiple income streams, like it's a lifestyle choice. Like people are doing this because they love it and not because the alternative is falling behind. Nobody talks about the fact that your grandfather didn't need a podcast about productivity to afford a house. He just needed a job and a reasonable cost of living. Two things that used to exist together and now rarely do. That same life today requires two incomes, a side hustle, and a budget app you check at 11 p.m., feeling vaguely guilty about something you can't even name.
This is the worst.
And nobody explains why that happened. They just expect you to adapt. Work more, spend less, optimize, like you're a failing business that needs restructuring instead of a man who just wants to build something and enjoy his life. Here's the thing though, this isn't random. The numbers that came out this week aren't a coincidence or a mistake. Wage growth at 3.5% was a decision. Rates held at 3.75% was a decision. Every policy that shapes what your money is worth when you get home on Friday was a deliberate choice made by someone whose financial reality looks nothing like yours.
I will look for you. I will find you.
And they'll get on the news and say, wages are rising, which is technically true. They just don't mention that wages are rising slower than last year and slower than the cost of the groceries you bought this morning. And this is where a lot of guys get lost.
We lost. We fucking super lost, man.
Because there's no single face to put on this. No obvious target for the frustration. It's just a system with its own set of priorities. And those priorities have very little to do with whether you can afford to own a home, take your family somewhere, or feel like the work you're putting in is actually building towards something. You are valuable to this economy as a worker, as someone who produces and spends and keeps things moving. As a man trying to build a real life, you're on your own.
To tell you the truth, I don't give a shit.
And most guys feel that without being able to name it exactly. There's this low-level frustration that has no clean address. You're not angry at anyone specific. You're just doing everything right and somehow still falling behind. Working hard, showing up, not asking for much, and the finish line keeps moving. That feeling is accurate. It's not weakness, it's not a mindset problem. It's your instincts telling you something true about what's happening around you. So what do you do with it? I'm not going to pretend there's a clean answer because there isn't one. This isn't a discipline problem. You don't need to wake up earlier. You don't need another productivity system. But there's something that changes when you see it clearly. When you stop thinking like, why am I falling behind? What am I doing wrong? And start understanding that the ground itself is moving.
Oh, just so you know, it's not me, it's you.
Because once you know that, you stop trying to fix yourself and start thinking about how to actually move. The guys getting somewhere right now aren't waiting for conditions to improve. They're not holding out for the Fed to cut rates or inflation to cool down on its own. They're building something outside of the single income, single employer, single point of failure situation that most of us were told was the right way to live. Not quitting their jobs, not doing anything dramatic, just deciding that one company's decision to keep them around cannot be the only thing standing between them and everything falling apart.
You just need to believe. Clap your hands if you believe.
Because when that's your situation, when your entire financial life balances on one employer, you have no leverage. And no leverage means you take the 3.5% and say thank you while the grocery bill goes up 4%.
Thank you, Master.
I'm not saying go start a business tonight. I'm saying start thinking like someone building towards something. Anything, even small. Because the difference between a man who has options and a man who doesn't is almost always just that one of them started earlier than felt necessary. It always feels too early until it feels too late.
You have to think, young brother, about your future. Huh?
That's really it. You got a raise this year. It bought you less than last year's raise bought you. The Iran conflict pushed your costs up. The Fed kept rates high, and the official report will tell you the labor market is solid. Maybe it is. For someone. Just make sure you're building something that works for you, regardless of what the report says next Friday. Because the report isn't about you. It never really was.